You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Hey, it's Dr. Phil here, ready to talk to you about The Real Story, where I take headlines that jump out at me and tell you what I think is really going on. And today, I got a question. What the hell is happening in our schools? Recently, two 19-year-old students were arrested after allegedly beating a teacher at a high school in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Two students seen attacking a teacher.
And they're now facing charges as we learn more about that brutal beating.
Now, here's what happened. This is an altercation that is captured on video, a lot of it on students' phones.
Punches are repeatedly thrown in this video, all against a teacher who was already on the ground.
Now, what's that tell you? It tells you that they're not doing anything except videoing this instead of helping the teacher. It shows Javis L. McClever, 19, and Roderick McQueen, 19, approaching a teacher and verbally threatening to attack him. This is according to police. The two, both enrolled at Dillard High School, then intentionally launched a synchronized physical attack on the teacher. They repeatedly punched the teacher in the face and head with closed fists, causing the educator to fall to the ground, according to police. They also added that the students continued to punch the teacher while he was on the ground. Now, finally, security staff, no students, pulled the two students away from the teacher, who suffered injuries to his face in the form of swelling, bruising, and reported pain in his back as a result of the attack. Now, both of the students are charged with battery. Where was everybody else? Where were all the other students in the school to just watch two people pummel a teacher? Now, was this a one-off? Sadly, no. This is all too common.
He started throwing chairs. I caught the first one, and he threw another. I blocked that one.
In Texas, an assistant principal was blinded in her right eye after a student attacked her.
He found the hanger and threw that, and I couldn't block that fast enough.
The hanger hit me in my right eye and knocked it out of the socket.
She had to have her eye removed. In Ohio, a teacher's skull cap was surgically removed after a 16-year-old repeatedly attacked her in her class.
Police say he began punching the teacher in the head. She was rushed to UC Medical Center, and police say she will require extensive medical treatment.
I recently sat down with a teacher who had a student who didn't want to put her phone away. Teacher said, "No phones in class." The student snapped. The teacher was attacked and wound up in the hospital for 6 days. Had to have knee surgery. No one at the school, according to the teacher, called to even check on her. You say instead of helping you that about 75 students watched, and a lot of them, most of them, were recording this, right?
Oh, absolutely, yes. It's terrible.
She's left with PTSD, had to have knee surgery, can't go back to school, had to file for bankruptcy. Lost her house.
We don't come to school to be parents. We don't come to school to be psychiatrists. No. We don't come to school to be nurses. All of that. We don't come to school to be doctors. All of that. We don't come to school for that. We come to work because we want to teach. We don't come to school to be assaulted. No, we don't.
North Carolina, female teacher was punched in the face. A classmate filmed the attack, of course. The teacher sat motionless as the student landed the punch and then said, "Would you like to hit me again?" New York. A student threatened to kill a teacher in November, attacked and choked an aide. Now, look, I know we always talk about the good old days, but look, this is outrageous. We would have never thought about attacking a teacher. They were authority figures. We respected them. Not today. In fact, 44% of teachers report being physically attacked by students. This is according to the APA's Classroom Violence Directed Against Teachers Task Force. Over 50% have had personal property destroyed by students. I'm talking about computers, cars, phones, coats, their homes. 75% of teachers say they have been verbally harassed by a student in the past year. We've got a serious crisis on our hands in America. We've got hundreds of thousands of teachers' jobs unfilled. I wonder why. Well, let's think about it. First, we pay them a ridiculously low wage. I'm scared to death if they ever divide the number of hours they put in by the pay they get. It's got to be below minimum wage. And they're scared to death. An investigative teacher study by the Cox Media Group, where they surveyed 8,300 teachers in 34 states, found that 60% of them are afraid to go to school at least some of the time. 669 of those teachers feel afraid most or every day. Think about that. How would you like to have a job where you're scared to go to work, afraid you're going to get beat up? That's like being in prison. 63% considered quitting or retiring because they're afraid of violence. And it's being normalized. New teachers are told to expect and just accept the violence. Are you kidding me? Are these kids being raised by wolves? A post in a teacher's Facebook group said, quote, "A student threw a stapler at my head today when I said they couldn't have a hall pass. I have a big bruise on my forehead and I can't stop shaking. This is my first year teaching. I don't know if I can handle it. This is how my fellow teachers reacted." Quote, "Just a stapler? You had an easy day," close quote. Next quote, "Toughen up." Next quote, "You need to grow a thicker skin." Next quote, "If you're shaken up already, maybe you're not cut out for the job." Next, "Why would you deny a student a hall pass?" Really? That was the response? Next quote, they blame the teacher. "You need to get classroom management training." Yeah, canine. Next quote, "This is what it's like to be a teacher. Get used to it." And last but not least, quote, "Suck it up, Buttercup." Yeah, it's being normalized. And it's not just happening in high school. According to the Violence Directed Against Teachers Task Force, elementary teachers are being bitten, kicked, punched, and stabbed with scissors. So we don't just need to tell them not run with scissors, also don't run at the teacher with scissors, apparently. The most common forms of violence towards teachers: hitting, kicking, punching, biting, shoving, and hair pulling. They're also spitting at them, throwing items at them, threatening to kill them, destruction of classroom and personal belongings, and of course, they steal from them when they're not looking. Now look, let's just get down to what the reality is. Violence against teachers is not, or at least should not, be part of the job. I mean, come on. These kids obviously have no impulse control, or they're not being socialized. Where are they learning this? What are they saying to themselves? Think about it. A kid sitting there in their chair, somebody says something they don't like or don't want. What's the conversation that kid is having with themselves? They have to say something to themselves that makes it okay for them to get out of their desk or out of line and say, "You know what? My best option right now is to run up there and physically attack this adult. Punch them, kick them, hit them, bite them, pull their hair, or stab them with these scissors. Teachers, however, are expected to endure threats and abuse without recourse. Now, I hate to bring it up, but this is assault. Violence against another person is, what do you call it? Illegal. So what do you do about this? Well, I hate to bring this up, parents, but it's your job to socialize your little angel. You also need to teach your child about bystander responsibility. If there are 20 kids in class and one of them has jumped on somebody else's back and was beating them over the head with a stapler or a chair or stabbing them with scissors, wouldn't you think somebody in the class would say, let's go help this person being attacked? Has anybody remembered to install a moral compass to say, how about helping those that can't help themselves? If their idea is to just sit there and watch or go, oh my gosh, or whip out their phone and start taking a video that they can post on YouTube to get some clicks and likes, I'm sorry, the bar is too low. The bar is too low. And teachers, look, I hate to put this on you, but you need to start having some parent-teacher meetings before the classroom begins, before the first day of class. I would have myself a stack of papers, and I would require these parents to sign a pledge that they understand there are consequences for that child, that if they don't sit down and explain to their child, I shouldn't have to tell you this, but it's not okay for you to attack your teacher. You don't put your hands on someone else in anger. You don't hit somebody else in the head with something, because if you do, parents, I'm going to be looking to you. You need to sign this pledge that you're going to sit down with your child and make them understand they don't hit me. They don't throw things at me. They don't attack me. They are to respect me. And you need to understand that bullies have role models. Most bullies have been bullied. And that means that their parents have probably aggressed against them physically, and they can't fight back against that power figure, so they wait until they find somebody who they can vent at. So that means they've gotten pushed around, hit, slapped, kicked, physically aggressed by their parent or big brother, so they get out somewhere that they think, okay, I couldn't fight back then, but I can now. And so you're going to be the target. So listen, this starts at home. Impulse control is taught at home. Socially acceptable ways of expressing themselves starts at home. So you need to start at home by talking to those parents and have them sign a pledge that says, my child will not be allowed to aggress against the teacher. And I understand if they do, that they will be disciplined, and it may involve criminal prosecution. And parents, you could be involved in it as well. So I'm just giving you a heads up. I don't know what your teachers have been like before, but you're dealing with one right now that knows where the boundaries lie, and I won't be beat on by your child. And you need to acknowledge that you have been forewarned, sign right here. And if you're not okay with that, then I'm happy for little Johnny or little Jill to be in somebody else's classes. And that is the real story.
You want the best for your child. K-12 can help them gain the skills they need to reach their full potential while giving you the support you need to get them there. K-12-powered schools are tuition-free, accredited online public schools for students in kindergarten through 12th grade. Their state-certified teachers make online learning interactive and engaging, allowing your child to learn at their pace from the safety of home. Join the more than 3 million families who have chosen K-12. Go to k12.com/podcast today to learn more. That's k12.com/podcast.